Content first things first. My name is Kenneth Burr. My company is ILEG Technology Screens. I don't need that cord anymore. I was charging my phone. I don't need it charged already. All right, so separating the lies. Now, I wouldn't say that the screen paints we encountered on eBay or Amazon has actually made this statement. You only have a few individuals who did this one. So basically, but keep in mind that the gray screen does not do what it claims to do. That is true. It doesn't read 100% contrast. It does require calibrating because the colors are thrown off. And it does pick up a white level, that it does too. But again, the contrast and color just isn't there. Ambient light rejection, technology capabilities, no, it doesn't possess it. It doesn't have it because, again, if you have a screen that has ambient light rejection, you should be able to operate in a fully lit environment without the screen deteriorating. Any light in the environment should cause the screen to never deteriorate. So that right there is definitely questionable. So as for the biggest lies we've seen, the biggest scams we've seen would have to be under this product and another fellow by the name of Danny Rogers. That was another person who basically made these some paints called uh, premium PSP premium products. But anyway, both paints, the Goopity Goo and the other paints he had in the day, they were all scams. Number one, the gain capabilities were virtually impossible. Gains were super extremely too high. And then there was this gain range nonsense that he kept going on about how if you paint the screen in a different direction, the gain changes on it, which we all know that's not real. Also, too, the paints, the darker ones, had issues where they had problems actually maintaining their actual color. They kept coming up light gray or mid gray, so there was another problem right there. The paint down application was an absolute nightmare. It was just a whole lot of stuff that was going on with it. It just didn't do what it's supposed to do at all, period. Especially the black paint, the Series C, which we have on the blacklist, clearly showed two different colors when it was being painted down. One was definitely not black. That was one. What was black in the container was not showing up on the screen. And there were other issues that we're having too on top of that. The gritty look to it, and then the skin texture overlapping of those thick skin textures to it. So it had a lot of problems. Customers, I've seen one customer with it, and he was very upset that it made his screen very spotty. So it was one incident right there. And then there was a fellow over in England who we did contact multiple times, and he blocked us because we asked him what was the gain range on it, what was his gain he received, and he blocked us. So his paint it's just fake. Anyway, getting back to this one over here, this is Crow's product right here. This is his product. It's called the Refusal. This is one we sent back to him using $11 worth of hobby paint that we made using his tutorial video. And this has to be, he's been out longer than Rogers. This is one of the biggest scams on the face of the planet when it comes to screen paints. These guys sold a lot of this paint to people, and that stuff is a scam. Doesn't pick up contrast as he claims it does. It didn't do any of this stuff whatsoever. This stuff is absolutely not even worth the money. As you can see, the Refusal, which we call the Refusal Metallica Mix 2.0, which, and the test that Fernando was supposed to do, if he did sign for it, didn't send it back, he was supposed to put the product against multiple, his multiple products, different products that he made. Our theory was that the Metallica mix, the free mix, as you've seen, he was selling at one point, but it was a free mix he was giving out for free at one point. Now he starts to sell it as if it's something different. Pretty much on our test, matched every single one of his paints except for the UB and the Frankenstein. And the Frankenstein and UB were identical. They also matched, but they also did match the Bullseye Gray Primer I was using to prime the basement with. So, yeah, that stuff is house paint. So, in the demonstration under the Frankenstein, a video he wanted to go missing, but we were able to upload it. That video shows containers of paint in the background where you can clearly see next to a laptop, where you can see a small can and large can. That's usually the same type of setup that for anyone making gray screen paint, a quart of black paint, and a gallon of white paint. So yeah, his stuff is nothing more than just house paint. So we have it here. This paint right here, this one we show in demonstrations, the Refusal. We have it here. So this paint right here, as I said before, again, as he does in his demonstration, claiming that our products came out too dark. Again, we filed a court case against him. Yes, he has to come here. Once it reaches the judge's desk, he's going to receive a letter telling him he has to report. He's going to be here to Philadelphia, or sorry, Allentown, Pennsylvania, to go to court. And he'll never make it past the airlines. We all know why he won't make it past. You need 2 forms of ID to show that you are before you can get on that plane, and he'll never pass it. So that's the whole object, to pinch him, which he's about to get. But anyway, getting back to this mess. This stuff never worked. We've had all different types of this paint, and when we was on the eBay account, this is where we were ordering a lot of this stuff before we started doing the blocking of orders on his website. We got paints in that failed outside. We took it outside, it failed. We took it inside, it failed. It was just so much stuff that was wrong with it. On the blacklist, you can clearly see we caught him stealing Google images. That's pretty bad when you have to steal a Google image on a 4K laser projector to convince people. That's pretty bad. We watched in the network grade 773, where literally his paint matched an everyday paint. On top of that, when the LG logo popped up, both screens failed to pull a contrast level, which stated the 2,000,000-to-1 projector he had in there. The P2 was absolutely useless on the paint. Certain points in the demonstration screen became washed out and distorted. And then you could see where basically he just kept fiddling with the camera and moving things around and changing the topics, which shows he was extremely nervous through the entire demonstration. It was just a bit of a mess in there with that one. Whew, that video also went missing. We got it in a live stream of him removing the video. Multiple videos of him removing videos. Also, too, step back to the personal mix. Another one that was caught, basically matching bare silver screen. Another demonstration that went missing. We have it on the blacklist. And this is the paint right here itself. So we basically did one better. Instead of buying it from his website, we went in and made the free mixture, which he tried to remove that video also. But we have it there for everybody to see. It's all over Google, showing him making a black and white mixture, which he called a Metallica mix, which had no Metallica in it whatsoever. No silver, no mica, nothing. So I don't know how you would call that a Metallica mix to begin with. But we did make a real version of it and sent it to him. But again, he sent it back. Now, please, I can't explain this enough to you, Fernando. Don't embarrass yourself any more than you already are. Don't come out and say that somebody in your house refused it. It had a restriction label sitting on top of it. A restriction label means you're the only person that can sign for the identification of who you are. So he refused it. We got that confirmed back. Also, too, everybody had the tracking numbers, because we gave the tracking numbers out to everybody. So they know that the package was refused. Not just by me, not my word by saying you did. Everyone had those tracking numbers. So, with that being said, he sent the paint back. And mind you, I don't know what makes it worse. Did he send it back on a product that he advised customers to make for free, or he sent it back on a product that he was charging people for? So, we have it here on the Maxsonic 50 lumen projector. And I said we tested this paint under just about every kind of projector we can get our hands on, and it doesn't work. It just can't get it to function. Now, you know, you can paint your whole entire desk gray, but this is literally what you're going to end up with. We got our white levels on our technology read quite nicely next to it. Let me stand up because I'm standing in it. There we go. Make sure my feet are not entangled around anything. So let's go over here. You see it doesn't read the menu because our menu goes in black. So the lie of him telling you that it reads 100% contrast, no, it doesn't read 100% contrast. And you know the problem is not just him, it's other people who sat up here and gave off this same exact lie also. We've been through your specification sheets clearly stating that you're supposed to be reading this black level. Now mind you, if you say the word black, that means that's what you're claiming you're reading. You can't mistake black for gray. Black is black. If it's the same thing, if you say you're selling red cars and you get sent a blue car, you're going to call them back and say, hey, you said you're selling red cars. Why is my car blue? Oh, that's actually technically that's red. You know, no, it ain't. That's blue. So you know the difference between the two. There you go. So that's consumer fraud. So this is one of the demonstrations we saw him do with a P2. He did this in a dark environment, Christmas lights behind the back of the screen, little lights behind the back of the screen, and he showed us off saying, look, my screen paint can produce a black level. It can. Mind you, it's all the light we have in here. That's it. I told you, one of the areas that are going to take the most hits of light are tabletops, floors. They take the big amount of hits. Unless you got one sitting in the ceiling, that's going to take a big hit too. But that's really what you're going to get. Now, anyone suggests at the end of the day that, well, you know, you have to have what? A high-end projector? We're not using one. So you're saying, if you make that statement, you're saying that to have that screen paint, you're going to have to buy a more expensive projector to get the somewhat work when our customers don't. Where's the contrast? Now that shows at the end of the day that my customers at the end of the day don't have to spend a lot of money for an expensive projector with high contrast because our screen is contrast. So that means the people who purchase this product, this is what you have. This is why you're in the dark when you watch your demonstrations and videos. This is why. Because the contrast would kill your screen. I just did this demonstration a few minutes ago. Colors missing, a lot of colors missing. Look at that. Now, at the end of I'm about to say, see me in court. Oh, too late. You are coming to court. So we'll see you soon. If you do make it through that airport. Now, the reason why? Well, we all know why. You have to have proper identification to go to an airport. Everybody knows that. When we have these dates that come up for court, you're advised to fly in, not take a bus or take forever to get there. You got to be there that day. So he's going to have to go to the airport. And keep in mind, you go to an airport, you can't use somebody else's identity. That's not going to work. It needs your identity, your information to go through there. So if you don't show up, and this is a criminal charge filed against you, that means you'll get a bench warrant on you for your arrest. So you have to show up for this. You have to. Just give you fair warning. Have to show up for this one. This is a criminal charge. It's not involving any lawsuits in any way whatsoever. As for the individual who did too much. I love these commercials, they're funny. Let's bring that back. I think we're playing that video. Hold on. Can we get a grip on this? There we go. So the truth, what are you really getting with this product or any other gray screen? We just did certified a few minutes ago. What are you really getting? Oh, let's go back to that. I want to see that for a minute. I've seen this demonstration on our product, and in the demonstration right there, our screen came out super dark. There we go. So what is going on here? How come our screen doesn't look the same way? Mine have a duplicate copy of all your videos. So that means that any video, but again, like I said, that's if you make it past that airport first. Gotta get past that. And they ask for a lot of them. You know, since 9/11, they don't play around with IDs now. You gotta show those IDs. Everything. 2 forms of ID. So, let's see what happens for them. But anyway, as you can see, we're not having any issues. See, we're still picking up skin tones, all that. So, the way I saw in the video, our screen was so dark, you couldn't even see it. It's like unwatchable. Interesting. We're filing 6 more charges against you. Mine, I got a lot to go through. I got 31 in that whole folder. So every day, if we get down there, we're going to be filing a charge against you. Next thing you know, you'll have about 13, 14 charges in court for you to show up in court. We want to make sure that you show up for what you did. If you can't make it down, then you're going to have an issue. I'll put some pressure on you now. Now, next time you want to go in, you want to make false statements about someone's product, keep in mind that someone can easily bring you down to their neck of the woods or go to court. And in your situation, you don't have what you need to get to an airport. So you're going to have to figure it out, buddy boy. But until then, your stuff is garbage. This is a shame. The customers who purchased this mess, at the end of the day, clearly got ripped off, as you can see. Where's the rest of the screen? So let me get this straight. In your dark apartment, on your P2 projector, it picked up. But here it's not picking up. Now, and Fernando, if you feel in any way whatsoever that you feel that all this is fake and not real, then you sign my contract and see me in court. Oh, forgot, you're already coming to court. So we'll see you when you get there. If you get there. If you get past that TSA security. But you're going to have to show at the end of the day, when you get that front desk, 2 forms of ID. And these are criminal charges. Again, they're not lawsuits yet. And I know he's probably going to use the term, well, no. Medical condition. No, I'm excused from that. You'll be coming here to see us. Now, keep in mind, for people who think at the end of the day that, hey, I can just say I had, no. You have to show medical reports from doctors that were signed off on, showing that there's a reason why you can't be in a pressurized, plane pressurizes, because it could affect you. Anyone with lung disease, lung damage, they would be affected by that easily. So you would have to have that by doctor to do that. So it won't work. And don't fake documents. This guy's a known for, don't do that. Courts are involved in this. No, they don't do that. But this is a mess right here. Look at customers. Look how bad they got ripped off. Look at that. This is why I explain at the end of the day why batch number verifications have to be a must. This is why. Because you, the customer, will order this mess, get it home, and look what you get. Where's the contrast at? So in his demonstration, he used a projector cost $3,700. That means that you would probably get the same projector if you could afford it, because some people don't want to spend $3,700 for a projector, and some people can't afford to pay for that. But you're going to be forced to buy that projector to find out it doesn't work, because in his demonstration under the Network Grade 773, he couldn't pick up the LG logo, didn't pick up. Contrast was completely weak. The screen was washed out on a projector that caliber should never happen. You can't sit there and say it's not his product. We sent it to you. We made it from your video. We did the whole thing by the book, everything by the book, and sent it to you. And I got it sent back to me. Of course he can't do that. Because like I said, the agreement was, what we put there was, he was supposed to take this paint and put it against all his products, the lighter ones, to see how much of it would match. Of course you can't. It's stuff matches all his products. It's the same thing. That's the same thing as the Cinemax and everything else. The same thing. It's the same thing. So he ripped off all his customers. Let's see if we can get something else to work on here. Do we have anything else? He ain't definitely ain't gonna pick that up. Well, we know we ain't gonna pick this up. Mind, these are demonstrations I'm choosing that he used in his demonstration to be in. He did this in the dark. Now you see why. Even when he didn't even have a product. When he had a fake product claiming to be ours, he was still in the dark. But this is the reason why. There's a lot of screen missing. Now, this is a big lesson for those who make gray screen paint products. Whether it be Goose Screen or any other company, maybe Vox, whatever, paint on screens, whatever. Your gray screen doesn't read a contrast level. That's the bigger problem, because there are too many of you out there making these products and you don't read a contrast level, and you've been lying and telling your customers they're reading black. If you mention the word black, that means you're saying you read this. That's what you're telling people. You don't read that, you read this. This is what you pick up. And if you're telling customers, well, hey, look, you got to be in an ambient light controlled environment, that means at the end of the day your screen does not work. That's what that means. Because the darker the environment, the better your contrast levels have a chance of surviving. That's why you make that statement. Now, any gray screen right now willing to walk me into a courtroom on this theory? You can't. You know why? Because I'm telling you, I'm telling the truth, and you know it. Your screen does not read 100% black. And if it doesn't read 100% black, there's going to be an issue of problems you're going to have as in color. Color is going to be a big issue for you. It's going to cause a ripple effect. That's why you're constantly telling customers, calibrate, 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 calibrate. Gotta calibrate, gotta calibrate, gotta calibrate, because the colors don't work. Darker environment means you have a higher chance of maybe your screen deteriorating less. So I don't know what's the point of having ambient light rejection or 2.0 attached to your stuff if you have to be in the dark to get it to work. Meanwhile, the consumer gets ripped off. Now, if anyone advises in the day that we need to use a more high-powered projector, why can't you work off this projector? We're working off it with no problem whatsoever. That means you have to advise the customers to spend more money to get your stuff to work. Where is the contrast? Got the whole Marco going on. I don't think Polo's going to show up. Now, do I say the other grade paints have done the same thing he's done? Not really, to tell you the truth. The only thing they pretty much have done has embellished about their contrast levels. That's what they've done. Oh, that's the LG logo that was supposed to pop up on the screen. You go to the blacklist, it failed on a P2 with a 2,000,001 contrast. And with the 1.7 billion colors that thing has, when you watch the demonstration, the screen's completely washed out. And you see, he started to darken the environment to try to get the screen to produce better. That didn't work either, because he started matching it even better. So that didn't work out either. Yep. Talking about flying too close to the sun with wax wings. He probably doesn't even understand that one, so there's no point in explaining it. There we go. Look at the reds. Gone. Another demonstration that was done next to our, claimed to be next to our product, our screen came out too dark. Got to be careful about touching God's blessings. And he's got to show up for court. He's going to have to go through that system to get over here. And when if he doesn't show up, we're going to file another one. If you don't show up for that one, we're going to file another one. You're going to have 3 or 4 bench warrants on you. So you're going to have to show up in court for this. Come on now. Now, keep in mind anybody else at the end of the day who have the ability to actually get on an airplane and fly over, well, this is what you'll be facing in court. It's going to be brutal. You know that, right? If you made statements that our products require high-end projectors to activate, you're in trouble. You can do it at 50 lumens with no problem. Now, as you can see, the gray screen does not work. See, the problem with the gray screen, it's been obsolete a very long time ago. When the gunmetal technology came out, gray screens went obsolete. The only problem, the reason we keep them alive, is the simple fact that the gunmetal screens are very, very expensive. But the gray screen continues to make statements they can't back up. As when we read the heavy contrast levels, we pick up beautiful colors. No, you don't. And then you keep giving yourself that 2.0, 3.0 gain. You don't have that. You spend a good amount of time in the dark for a screen that has a 3.0 to 2.0 gain. Why is that? So, no, you don't have that capability. I tested Goose screens. The most advanced screen they had was one of a charcoal dark gray paint. They consider that a paint that basically, I don't know if they said will pull black, but especially one of the darkest ones, they said pulls an amazing contrast level. You can't beat a screen that's black. I tested your product already. So, no, you're not in our category. You don't pull black. So if you made the statement that you pull black, you're in some trouble because you can't make that statement. We pull black, not you. Gray screens out there who are making this statement that you pull black level, you can't make that statement. That'll be us that can make that statement. Smarter Surface can make that statement. They actually do have a black screen. The white levels are not that good, but they still pull a black screen. Heck, you know who's got more authority to pull a black level than you? My t-shirt that I have on, because it actually pulls black, but it can't read a white level for jack. So you can't make that statement. Look how much is missing from the screen. Look at that. So that means the Maxonic projector we're having here at 50 lumens is absolutely useless on a gray screen. And if the thought pops up in your mind for a second when you said that, well, maybe you have to buy what? Buy what? More expensive projector? You have to darken the environment? Use it excuses? I mean, it's going to cost you more money for a projector and you're sitting in the dark the entire time with it because you can't operate in a fully lit environment. That's money well spent, right? Well, my customers can do this. As I said in my demonstrations, my customers' demonstrations are better than those who sell paint and screens. So to paint this or any gray screen on this tile system for my desk would be absolutely useless. Now, I do not want to hear from the gray screens today. Well, they don't want to hear from the gray screens today. They don't want us to be sitting on your site watching you. We don't want to hear the crying and whining. Stop doing this. More of that. Sign the contract, see me in court. That's all you got to do. Sign, see me in court. If you're that passionate about your gray screen paint products at the end of the day, and you feel 100% that your product works, then why are you denying our contract? Because you know you lied on camera. That's the whole purpose of pressuring you and keep talking about that contract over and over again. Because we know that if you can't sign it, what does that say about your product at the end of the day? Which is a lot. If you made claims that it works, then why won't you sign? Because it doesn't work, that's why. You know, if you go in the courtroom, you're in a lot of trouble. So, there you go. That's why we keep putting pressure on it, as in sign the contract, sign the contract, sign the contract. That's all you gotta do is sign, 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 sign. That's it. Now, the worse upon worse, if you're caught in one of these things, what's going to happen is you're going to have to show proof that you were doing what you said your product was doing exactly what you're saying. If it doesn't and you lose that, we can turn around and hit you with a fraud charge, which means we can hit you with a consumer fraud charge showing that you sold a product and you didn't tell the truth on this product at all. And that means if we hit you with one of those, that means you're going to have to pay back some money to your customers. Not only that, you could face some very serious charges over this. Because common sense would tell you, I mean, basic common sense. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that a gray screen is not going to pull a 1% black level. Anybody would know that. If that was the case and that was considered to be black at the end of the day, it means when you buy a car and it's gray, it'll be black, right? It's not. We all know the difference in our colors. So there's no way in the world you're going to ever get a judge to convince them that that's going to read black, ever. And there's no lawyer on the face of the planet that's going to take your case at all and be embarrassed in the courtroom and make it look like, oh, you guys don't know color? Didn't we see this demonstration on the P2? We did, didn't we? Yeah, it's the same demonstration, yeah. He said it's paint yellowish tone or whatever the other product would give off next to his paint. I'm not seeing a yellowish tone. I bet you I can stick you against that black technology, that transfer technology, and make your screen turn yellow. Oh, we did already. We did that one already. I forgot about that. Look at this, see? Pick up nothing. Well, that's a waste of time right there. Let's see what we got over here.
I'm so lost. Yeah, I know you go by.
See, all that trash talk on his channel, talked all this nonsense about how his products were doing all this stuff, these great things, pulling these amazing contrast levels and colors, and that thing actually didn't even work. Now, if he sits there and says, well, that's not, buddy, we sent it to your front door. We sent it literally to your front door. You refused it. I don't know what's worse, the fact that we made it for free off your own tutorial video, or the fact that at the end of the day that this is a product you tried to sell on eBay at one point. This stuff is a scam. Look at that. Look how badly that is. Look how bad the black levels are reading. The black levels are not even reading at all. We don't really have any light in here. We're not even at full lighting. We're at 50 lumens on our projector. And you can't pick up, and our black screen's reading at 50 lumens? That is not good. Your screen's lighter than mine. You should be able to read perfectly. Red screen. I'll take that. Now, remember what I told you about the little theory? This is why we show the white screen. This is really important. I like doing this one. You guys don't know what you're doing. I'm going to show you why. See, when it comes to the white level, especially with darker screens, requires a special tone. That special tone allows that screen to be to read as high white levels as we do in our demonstrations, but also too allows it to maintain its color. If your screen is pulling that at the end of the day, which we've seen certifieds do this one, you think because it pulls a higher white level, your colors are going to be brighter, right? No, you got it backwards. It's the other way around. So you would think this is the screen that's going to pull the higher white levels, color levels, right? And this is going to pull the lower ones because it came out a little bit darker than this one, right? I do this all the time in form sites for gray screens. All right, let's help you out with that one. Let's go over here and let's ask for red screen. There you go. You see it now? You guys are backwards. The people make gray screens, I'm talking to you guys. You're backwards. If your colors come up too bright, your white levels come too white, that means you're going to have an issue. It means your contrast levels aren't kicking. So your screen's supposed to have a certain tone to it. That tone shows it's reading this white levels high enough, but it has to have the tone saying it reads contrast too. You have to read contrast within black. The problem is that you don't have any black, so therefore you can't read that contrast level. You can only read a high white level, and there you go. You pull out what they call the white screen scenario. White screens do that. That's how much of a difference. So any color, basic color, you can't read. And when it comes to the darker colors, you can't read. When it comes to true contrast, you can't read. And it's also two darker screens involve ambient light rejection technology, which again, you can't use because your screens are too light. But is it possible that our white levels become too low, that your screen makes ours look darker? 4K Snow Screensaver Cottage? Absolutely not. You can't figure that one out, can you? They can't figure it out. It baffles them all the time. Now, the interesting thing about this one, why we showed off a lot, is because in this demonstration, there is 100% black triggering off on the screen. You see those trees in the back, all the dark details? That's 100% black, which means the technology we have here has to be to read 100%, not something white, it's impossible. We're reading a high white level, but 100% black, where you're reading the white level, but you can't read the black. That's why you come up ashy on your side. Nor can you read color, because when it goes back to showing the lake being a kind of a deep blue, you can't pick it up. Bum, 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 bum. See? Can't read it. It's a darker level. You can't read darker levels. Let's go back again. Oh, wait, I forgot we didn't put a loop on that one. Should have put a loop on it. I laughed at you too. I'd have sat there and had a ball like you, but you spent what? Oh, yeah, I got to see this one working. Yeah, right there. See the blue levels? Can't read it. Can't even read the reflection off the lake either. None of that's picking up. We can pick it up and pick up those levels at the same time. So that means our screen can register white levels and color levels and contrast all at the same time. Gray screen can't do it. Now, let's go back here and let's go pull up blue screen. This is why you're being advised to calibrate your projector, because they can't read it. They can't pick it up. Now, in a standalone by itself, this is still what you're going to read. They will have to darken the environment to get their colors to improve, but you're going to have to go through this. Oh, I forgot. You can't operate in the dark next to us because we're much better and more advanced in the dark. See, that's the thing about it. When we're showing our technology off and we're in fully lit environments, right? And you see that screen doing that, can you imagine what these things look like when the lights are out? Yeah, they are insane. You know why? Because you guys reflect too much light. That's the problem is. Like, when we do that Mr. Mannequin and we bring the screen down and you see the white gray screen washed out and you see colors flashing all over the ceiling and walls, that's what you guys do. We absorb light. So no, not even with the lights out, you don't work. Look at that. Sheesh. My goodness, how many people deal with those things? There we go. And you don't have ambient light projection. So what happens? So they darken it. If they darken it, they have a better chance. Say my screen's not in the equation. They have a better chance of this screen picking up in the dark. Lights on, it's going to have all sorts of issues. That's why they tell you that to calibrate when your colors fail, stuff like that. So a slow color changer. Now you'll notice that our colors will change, but the gray screen will have its issues, as you can see. That's why I do a lot of demonstrations on a standalone. Because you can try to fool people to make them think that, oh, that's color. See, I'm reading color. No, you're not. Your color is supposed to be that color. Let's try basic Starfield screensaver. Let's go with Starfield screensaver. And you don't pick that up either. Now again, if your first notion is, hey, you got to spend more money for a more higher projector, you lost already, because why are you spending more money? Let's take our lights out, see if we get an improvement on the gray screen, which spends a lot of time in the dark. Our screen again that has a 2.0 gain on it, claimed to be. This is what you pick up next to our screen. You can't see black. So this ashy looking color just here, this is what I see on a lot of gray screens online. I see a lot of this. This is what I see when you turn your lights out. This is what I pick up. You're supposed to be reading this, not that. So if I go to turn my lights on, right, that means that your screen should remain black, right, like ours, right? It doesn't. If I put it fully lit in here, are you going to maintain? No. Let's show you something more interesting before I leave real quick. "4K Snow Screensaver Cottage." So you would think with all this lighting here, right? You would basically make my screen unwatchable, right? Because, you know, dark and black screens have to be... Come on, how many times have we done this before? I've done this at 250 inches and made the grass turn white in front of my screen. Easy. So we can have all the lights on here, no problem. For those of you we're taking you to court for some dumb nonsense, yeah, get good lawyers. You're going to need them. Trust me. You lose on this, you're going to be paying my lawyer fees and yours too. So make sure you don't mess up on it. And for everybody, at the end of the day, gray screens don't function, don't work next to our products. Again, this projector is absolutely useless on a gray screen. Apex can easily pick up your levels with no problem. Blue screen. It's called ambient light rejection technology. That's what it is. ILEG, infusion light energy gain, which allows our screens to maintain their colors even at 50 lumens, even in a fully lit environment now. With a gray screen, wouldn't stand a chance in here. All right. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for your time. I got to go. Of course, we thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing us with amazing technology. But for Him, none of this would ever be available. Thank you for your time. I have to go. Seek God and be blessed.